Well, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us today. And I wanted to ask you, the Tarrant County Commissioners Court approved this new map by a 3-2 vote. What was your initial reaction?
Well, to be honest with you, Chris, I was not surprised. But here's the problem. I was not surprised. Here's the problem. Any redistricting process deserves public engagement, collaboration, consensus building, and most importantly, time. So we were shocked when we heard the motion for map number 7, and I'm chuckling a little bit because map number 7 was not featured at any of the listening sessions throughout the area. And map number 7 was not even delivered to the municipalities. People forget, we've got about 41 cities in Tarrant County. And I think those cities that are mostly affected in regard to precinct 1 and 2, we didn't receive anything in regard to map 7 at all. So when we heard map 7, we're saying, okay, what does that look like?
Even some Republican mayors, Fort Worth Mayor Matty Parker, Arlington Mayor Jim Ross, they signed on to the same letter that you did, asking the court to sort of delay this process and just put a pause on it. Do you think that they simply ignored that letter?
It's apparent that they ignored it. And you mentioned, party labels. Let me say this. In regard to mayors and municipal leaders, we really are nonpartisan. So when we signed that letter as municipal leaders. We signed that letter as individuals who were concerned with ensuring that the county process was compliant with the law. And as presented, the current map even now is under a federal lawsuit. I mean, and this is breaking news. So we knew that this was coming. We knew that because of what it looked like that there were some violations of the Texas Election Code. It looked like there were some violations of the U.S. Voting Rights Act. You cannot racially gerrymander people, and you can't pack unprotected minority groups into one particular area and crack or dilute other unprotected minority groups in other areas. And we have some economic concerns as well.
County Judge Tim O'Hare said, look, we haven't done a redistricting in 14, 15 years. Commissioner Matt Krause said there were several mayors in, say, Precinct 3 that supported this plan. So is this a matter of the county has to account for everyone and can't simply be beholden to what one precinct wants?
And thank you for mentioning that. See, that's the problem with redrawing lines when you don't collaborate with municipal leaders, because this process is geographically divisive. I mean, if you think about it, so our good friends in the precincts that you mentioned, and they are friends, we work together. Our good friends in those precincts are primarily untouched. The precincts that are being carved up is precinct 1 and 2. I mean, and you can look at all 7 iterations of the maps. And again, our friends in 3 and 4, they're in great shape. They're not touched much at all. But if you're in precinct 1, for example, you lose 164 miles of county road. Now that's a problem. You lose your economic engines of downtown Fort Worth, with the historic South Side TCU area. You gain Grand Prairie of all places, and if you're in precinct 2 in Arlington, you're split into 3 precincts now. Our city, Mansfield, is now stripped away from our close neighbors in Arlington and Grand Prairie, and heck, we share borders now with Benbrook, great neighbors, and White Settlement. However, our interests and needs are different. So again, Chris, if you're in 3 and 4, I mean, your constituents are fine, happy, have nothing to complain about because they are not being affected really at all. But if you're in 1 and 2, you're in a whole lot of trouble. And you're being cracked and back. And also this could affect us in regard to our economic endeavors as well.
You know, in a county like Tarrant County that's just undergone a massive population boom and the demographics have changed so drastically in the last, say, 10, 15 years, you would have to have some movement, right? Are you opposed to any redistricting whatsoever?
No, and let me thank you for asking that. Let me be clear. Let me be clear. We have experienced significant growth in recent years, but here's the problem: reliance on 2020 data fails to capture the impact of this growth. So, based upon what you just said, for example, are we saying then that the growth only took place in the southern sector of the county, and that our friends in the precincts 3 and 4 that they've not received any growth themselves? I mean, so you see how the argument doesn't match. And let me help you also understand something. So in 2021, there was a study done. There was scrutinization given to the present makeup of Tarrant County in regard to these precincts. Mind you, that particular county commissioners group, even then, was Republican. So it wasn't as if there's been some kind of democratic shift. What they did even then, they determined that the shift was not in a 10% deviation to where it warranted that kind of shift. So 5 years later, we have grown. So then that's why you wait on data that is more recent, that is more current, that is more accurate. So a decennial U.S. Census movement does not get justified the kind of move that they're making. And let me be frank. I think there's some personality clashes with that group, and I think that a lot of this is being done because you might have some folks who don't like each other, but it's at the expense of literally 2.5 million people, and it disrupts voting patterns, and also it might not pass legal muster. That is a problem. Nobody from the municipal level wants to be an arm wrestling match with their county counterparts because we have to work together. And you know what? I'll say this, Chris. We just completed an election in Mansfield, Texas, where it was one of the most partisan elections we've had in the history of our city. But you know what? Our people, the voters from a cross section, said that they're tired of this uber partisanship. Let me tell you something. All the people want in Tarrant and in Mansfield in particular, we want a safe city. We want good streets to ride on. We want good schools to live in. I mean, to study in, to learn from. We want lower taxes. I mean, that's what we want. That's what everybody in the county wants. So now we got a federal lawsuit. We're getting ready to spend millions of dollars. We warned them. As mayors, we warned them. We weren't speaking on behalf of our council. We understand that. But we, as elected officials, we warned them that this could result in a federal lawsuit. And by the time this airs, it will have resulted in a federal lawsuit that's going to spend millions of dollars that can be used for our health, safety, and roadways. And it's a waste. And again, a Republican-led county commissioners court in 2021 deemed that the current map was found.
You know, on the last day of the state legislature, we saw former state rep Tony Tinderholt get pretty choked up, announcing his retirement, saying, he's coming home, he wants to spend more time with his family. And then the very next day, he announced his candidacy for Alyssa Simmons' Precinct 2 seat. Is there part of you that believes all this was orchestrated?
With all due respect, I would turn that back on you, but of course, you're the one interviewing me because I'm going to ask, what do you think? I'm not gonna do you like that. What I'll say to you is, Representative Hope, has every right to run for that seat, and any person does. Let me tell you what I don't want to do. I do not want to give any more fodder to any political party or group. I don't want to do that because, again, my constituency in Mansfield, we're sick and tired of the gamesmanship. Yeah, it's suspect, of course, but he's got every right to do that. But let me tell you something else. What we are experiencing right now in Tarrant County, and the act that took place the other day that allowed the 3-2 vote, was voted along partisan line. This is also the result of voter apathy, my friend. When you don't have but 10, maybe 12% of the voting populace actually voting, these are the unintended consequences of folks not getting out to vote and letting their voices heard. And I'm hoping that these antics, I'm hoping that they would poke the bear and cause people to say, you know what, this happened on my watch. But if you get out and vote, you can draw the lines however you want to. But the people should have the opportunity to pick their leaders, as opposed to what this looks like is that you have leaders who want to pick their people. And if you're a mayor like I am, it doesn't work that way. The people choose us because we have to listen to them rather than special interest groups who want to do things their way. We have to do it the way that the people lead us to do it.
And Mayor Evans, Commissioner Manny Ramirez said, if Democrats had been a bit more willing to work with the law firm that drew these maps, it might have been a more comprehensive, equitable result. Do Democrats bear some of the blame for not engaging in this process early on?
Well, you know what? I'm not privy to what those conversations were, but I'm privy to this. I know that in the listening sessions that I was a part of in Arlington, and we had one in Mansfield, those attorneys did not accept the invitation to attend. I know that there was one in Lake Como, for example, in Fort Worth area, where they were not privy to attend. And also, I know that there were about 8 drafts of different maps that that were offered to the county. And my understanding is those were not looked at, or those people were not listened to. So here's a process that normally takes about 6 to 8 months. I think it took somewhere like 6 to 8 weeks. And again, Chris, the very map that was voted on the other day was not at any one of those listening sessions. So, again, I think that I think most people are smart, and if you wanted them involved, engaged, you would have talked to at least some of us municipal leaders. Again, there are 41 of us. You could have gotten us in a room. You could have talked to us in regard to the members of the Commissioners Court, those individuals as well. Again, collaboration is the key. Unity is the key. I'm believing that the electorate is sick and tired of the gamesmanship. You alluded to some of it. Some people were ready to move, like when this other group was ready to move. Again, my constituents are sick and tired of it. We just want safety and security, good roads, lower taxes, good schools, good park systems, good economic development. That's what the county should be really spending its time on, to be honest
with that in mind, Mayor Evans, the vote has come down 3-2. What now? What happens next?
Well, again, by the time that this broadcast, I've heard today that a federal lawsuit has been filed. So here we go. Here we go with millions of my dollars. And for those people listening, millions of their dollars, whether you're Democrat or Republican, your money is now going to be spent defending a lawsuit on a process that could have been done better. Now, let me say this. Let me be totally honest. In regard to attempting to allow your party to have more sway or leeway in a given political area, district or otherwise, is totally legal. That is legal. But packing unprotected minority groups into one particular area, cracking or diluting their votes in other areas is not legal. The other politically is, but when you do that other, when you crack and pack, that's a problem. That is a problem. That is what we're now going to be fighting for the next 2 to 3 or even 4 years. And those are millions of our taxpayer dollars that I wouldn't want to go to that. I want it to go to our public health, public safety, and our streets, and our roads, and economic development. And guess what? That's not a red issue or blue issue. That's a people issue.
One last question before we let you get back to work. Just sort of looking big picture, with the tremendous growth in Tarrant County, do you believe there's a need to expand the Commissioners Court, to perhaps maybe add 1 or 2 more seats and diffuse some of the power?
That's a fine question. I would say this. Anytime you give people an opportunity to have a voice, you should look into doing that. I think though that now that ship may have sailed. And again, Chris, I continue to say, voter apathy shares some of the blame. And I'm going to make people mad by saying that. But listen, in the last election, just a couple of weeks ago, you only had 8% of the county turn out to vote. I mean, so maybe this wakes some people up, because this is a problem in regard to what we're looking at now. And I don't think that the map's going to stand muster. But I tell you what, the people in Mansfield, they've spoken up and spoken out. They're tired of the gamesmanship. They're tired of the uber partisanship. They're tired of the paternalism. They're tired of people telling them who they need to vote for. Leaders don't get to tell people who they vote for. People tell the leaders who they have.
Well, we'll certainly keep reporting on where it goes from here. Mansfield Mayor Michael Evans, thank you for your time, Mr. Mayor. We appreciate it.